While the pound cake is cooking, we have to prepare the strawberries. And you can see how big these are. And super sweet. What I will be doing is slicing them up, adding sugar to it, along with a little bit of grated orange zest, and sugar, and let them macerate. That's when the sugar pulls the juice out from the berry and makes kind of like a sauce for it. Let's see if I have enough here. I know, there's never enough, right? You want to cut them relatively thinly. Let me get that out of the way. The thinner they are, the faster they will macerate. And since right now, let me look at the timer here. We have a little over half an hour. That should be just enough time. Look how big those slices are. And when you're doing this, if you have a container of strawberries and you have one or two that don't look quite ripe, this is the good time to use them because you'll be adding sugar to it. So the ones that aren't quite ripe will still be nice and sweet and juicy. Now the ones we had at the market weren't quite this big, but boy were they sweet and juicy. And the pound cake I'm making, even though it's strong enough to be grilled, it doesn't have to be. You can just put these right on top of a slice of that cake, cover it with whipped topping, and go from there. Every year we look forward to strawberry season because that's the traditional start of the market season here in Northeast Ohio. Right now the market is transitioning from strawberries to wild cherries. Sour cherries. Sorry. And we have people come from an hour away because we're one of the few farms that still has sour cherries to pick. Sour cherries aren't really great for eating raw, though some people do it. But as far as using them in pies and other recipes, they're really, really good. So I have quite a few strawberries here. A little over a pint. Maybe I'll add one or two more because like I said, you can never have too many strawberries. And then I'll add the sugar and I'll let it macerate. If you have the time or you can let it sit for a couple hours, put it in your refrigerator to macerate. If you don't have time, like we do right now, we'll just leave it sitting on the counter at room temperature. Now I'll add the sugar along with the orange zest. Now if you're just doing this For adults, there's all different things you can do. You can add a little bit of Grand Marnier. You can add whipped cream vodka or vanilla vodka to this. Just a little bit, just enough to moisten up. And that'll give it a little extra kick. You can see it's all mixed up now, and we'll want to leave that sitting there. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make the fudge sauce for it. This is really, really good. I've made it a couple times before. What you want to do is take 1 stick of butter, an 1.5 ounces of chocolate. The recipe calls for unsweetened baking chocolate. I'm using a special dark chocolate that's semi-sweet, so it's close. I like it a little bit sweeter. I'm going to put this on the stove, melt it down together, and as soon as it comes together, I'll be adding 3/4 cups of sugar, 1/4 cup of cocoa powder. I use high fat, of course. Then we have 5 ounces of evaporated milk. I have 1 teaspoon of vanilla and just a pinch of salt. This comes together pretty quickly, so it won't take a whole lot of time. Because of the heat in this kitchen, everything's pretty soft anyway. Alright, now everything has come together pretty quickly. So I'm going to add the sugar, the cocoa, the milk, the evaporated milk, just a pinch of salt, and then I'm going to whisk that. I'll turn off the heat, move this to a cooler burner, and then stir in the vanilla. You don't want to add your extracts over heat. Most of them are alcohol based, and even though you'd have to use a lot for it to flame up, still you don't want to burn all the flavor out. And now we'll let that sit, and as it sits, it'll get a little bit thicker than this. Now, if you're of a certain ilk and want to boost this up a little bit, this would be a good time to add like a Godiva chocolate liqueur or another liqueur that you think would go well with the chocolate and the strawberries. Grand Marnier or something like that. I want to get the cooling rack out because the cake is almost ready. Every now and then give your strawberries another stir so that all of them are incorporated. You can see now how rich and thick that sauce is and how each slice of the strawberries glisten. That's what you're looking for.